So now it's like end of summer 2021, going into fall 2021. And now I'm in a completely like new environment, in Switzerland. I've got to recalibrate everything, like where's the grocery store, where's the gym, all this stuff. And at this point, I was somewhat nervous because I felt like I felt feral in a sense. Like I feel like I hadn't interacted with new people or um things like that for the better part of like a year and a half, just because with the pandemic and everything, like I was basically just alone like for like a long time. In the two schools, they were online, so I'd spend most for like a year and a half. I was basically just by myself, like just in my apartment and everything, and just I was in my apartment and I would go to work, and then that was basically like my day. But I hadn't really like interacted with that many people. So, I had to like not readjust, but somewhat a little bit, because it was like, okay, like now I'm in not just in any environment either. You're in like a corporate environment. Um, so it was like, yeah, I had to like clean up and do all this stuff. Um, but I was really excited though. I was really excited because this was like the first time where, maybe not the first time, but it was like a big step from that initial plan from 2018. Um, it was like, damn, like it's really happening. So it was like, and this is where things like manifestation and all that stuff I feel like is very, very real, because you put you put your future self, like your future self, if you idealize at the present moment what your future self could be. This is what Jordan Peterson was talking about. If you idolize about what your future self could be, where they could be, what they could be doing, and then you slowly move towards that. And then when you finally get that, bro, there's no other feeling like it. I promise you, there's no other feeling like that. Um, and I feel like that's something that everybody should experience at least once in their life. Hopefully more than once, but at least once. You have to see the power that you possess, bro, to have something in here and then translate that physically and then make it happen. Like you have to understand how powerful that is, because that translates into other aspects of your life. Like, you know, if you have an idea about a certain physique that you want, and then you go and you put the work and you make it happen, and then now all of a sudden it happens, that's powerful. And then you say, okay, because it's very similar across the board. Like once you understand it once, that's all you kind of really need to say, like, okay, I can do this again. I can think of a vision of the future and I can obtain that vision. Um, and once you really get that in your head, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. um, so this was like it was like a big moment. It was a big moment for sure. Um, because now I'm sort of like playing my own game, if that makes sense. I'm playing my own game. Um, I'm playing my own game in the sense that I have my own sense of achievements. I have my own sense of success. I have my own definitions for these things. I have my own sense of validation. None of that is coming externally. Um, because what I was saying in other videos was that once you know yourself and you kind of determine those things for yourself, um, it makes it hard to get that externally. So it's a much more powerful place, because people are looking at you like, oh, why are you so happy about? I'm like, bro, like what are you talking? Like people around me didn't understand why I was so happy to be where I was at. But because that for me was my idea of success, like that was my idea. So I validated my own idea of success. And that's a strong feeling, you know? So when you're in that position, you'll feel good. Um so now I'm in this new space, and this was my first time sort of like in a corporate setting. And the reason why I chose to do that, because there was a point where I was like, okay, maybe should I do my own thing, or should I go and try to get like a job somewhere or do something like that? The thing is, because I had been alone for so long, I also understand that entrepreneurship is a very, very solo um endeavor, you know. Entrepreneurship is a very, very solo endeavor, at least for the first few years. And what I wanted was a sense of community, was like just to be around people and stuff like that, because just how isolating the pandemic was. Um, and also, you know, places like that have resources that you can use. Let's say, like, for example, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you don't have access to like company gym or company benefits or all that stuff, you know? Um, so like when I was an athlete, we had training facilities, we had all that stuff, we had, you know, nice locker rooms and everything. And you can get that from a company, because until you build something like that for yourself in entrepreneurship, you're not gonna have that. You're gonna be fucking, you know, the real side of entrepreneurship is not pretty like for a while until you're actually like really making money. Um, but so that was what I wanted. I wanted access to like the resources. I wanted access, you know, to the capital. And this is something too that I feel like gets overlooked. The mindset around a job is overall negative in today's society, you know. But there is a lot of things that you can get from it, as long as you know why you're doing what you're doing. And one shift that I feel like was helpful for me is I look at things like that like your largest private investor, right? To do what you want to do. So say at some point you want to start a business, or at some point you want to open up a fucking bakery shop or whatever, or do something, right? Being able to be in a space or a job where you will probably earn more for the next year than if you were to do something alone, that's just like having a big private investor into your own fund. So the way I look at it is like, I look at a job, I look at some like an experience like that as like the biggest private investor into my fund to do what then I wanted to do. So what I did, that it was like I took what they were investing in me to do whatever type of work, and I took that and then I invested it into my own, you know, projects, whether it was videos or music or creative stuff or just other ideas or experiences. Like that's just how I look at it. That's just how I look at it, because at some point, you know, you gotta at some point too, you like, even if you do want to be an entrepreneur, um, at some point it'll get there. At some point the capital will get there and everything like that, but you need initial funds to get started. So there's nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, so this was an exciting time. I was meeting a lot of new people, seeing a lot of new faces, totally new environment. It was just all like very, you know, when you go to a new place, when you start something new for the first time, it's very like whoa, like it's very like it's just very I don't know if there's a word for that. The first time that you experience something, and it's very just like surreal, I guess. And yeah, it was overall it was really cool. So then I'll go into like 2022 and all that stuff. A lot happened. But yeah.